So your first time for
I'm
outside of
you
the
were
home.
children.
Yes.
14.
So, and
St. Louis.
tell me about that night.
Well, we were huge
day.
fans of comedy. And I think we had cable TV before most people in St. Louis or on the early adapters of it. And Rodney Dangerfield was doing his young comedian specials. And I think we saw like the 9th version of it, which was
Seinfeld.
Sam Kinison, Rita Rudner, Bob Saget, Robert Townsend. Postscript, we just met Robert Townsend in St. Louis and hung with him, and he could not have been cooler and could not have been better and knew who we were. It was like such a full circle moment as we like proceeded to do the first few minutes of his act for him from that thing. So we would learn everybody's sets, and our parents would have like their friends over to play bridge in the basement, and the parents would be like, "What's going on with you guys? How you doing?" And we would immediately launch into like, "What's the deal with the shower radio? You want to dance on a slick surface next to a glass door?" I mean, Seinfeld's bits, and they've never heard them because at that point, no one knew who Seinfeld was. Right. This is a great story about us like thinking.
We saw Seinfeld in St. Louis in like 87, and we were at the Westport Playhouse in St. Louis.
1,000 seats in the
theater.
Good,
good gig for him, but like we walk out of there and we're like, that's the funniest comedian we've ever seen. It's a crime that no one in America is going to know who Jerry Seinfeld is.
No one's going to know who Seinfeld is.
Why are we the only ones who know who he is?
We will keep this secret to our grave. Anyway, so we were just so dumb. But
when you see Seinfeld and you come back, you do it for the family.
Yeah.
Is it already in this cadence?
Kind of. Yes. Yeah. Because we both saw, going back to the story.
Because it's how you talk anyway.
Right. Because we both saw it.
Yes.
We both loved it. We both have this energy to want to do it. And so we would get laughs with other people's material, which is your first thing of like, ooh, this is kind of cool. And then we were always like kind of funny amongst, our dad was a funny guy, but never in like a writing material. He was like a funny fat guy, large dude who was just gregarious. Like he would take us on errands like on a Saturday, give our mom a break, and like we would just sit in the back of his car while it was running. Basically, like he used to show houses too. He did real estate in addition to his thing, and he would be showing a house, and like the car would be on, the Cardinals game would be on the radio, Jack Buck, Mike Shannon, and we're sitting in the back of a running car outside of a house. Like, hey, child molesters, you want to take 2 of these kids? They're here, and the car is running.
You get a car and
you get
kids.
a Monte Carlo, Chevrolet Monte Carlo, and these 2 twins.
But it was a 2-door.
Just
in the
fill
door.
the tank when you're done.
Right,
Yes.
and just bring it back. Just bring back the car. And
We don't
so
care about the kids.
Our dad, but he would go into the cleaners and pick up his shirts for the week or whatever. And we're in the back of the car and we're just watching him. And within 30 seconds, whoever he was talking to would start laughing or smile. And, you see that enough as a kid. I think it shows us in a weird way that has nothing to do with the business or anything. There's value in making people laugh.
A way to be in the world.
Yes.
And not
connect.
get picked on so much.
Not get picked
and
on.
maybe meet a lady.
And maybe meet a lady and connect with other people.
You all veered towards lady. You got a little
lady,
thing.
or our dad used to do a thing where he'd go to a restaurant and he'd see someone he knew. This is when we were very little,
like life bit.
He'd see someone he knew, but didn't see him, and he'd send us over to the table at like 3 or 4 years old to go interrupt another family's
See that
meal.
guy over there? Go.
Guy in the plaid jacket. Go over to that guy and just look at him for a minute, and then say, "Daddy." Okay.
Such a good
It's a
bit.
great bit.
Perfect.
It's a great bit. And so we would walk over and do this and like just watch like a marriage crumble. No, we'd watch like people be like, who the hell are these kids?
And then our dad would be by the
pop out from the hostess stand and
so
wave.
he wasn't writing bits. He was a salesman, and he worked for a paper company in St. Louis called Tension Envelope. Tension in the name. It wasn't like named after the Tension family, but like, so he had a regular job where he had to be, personable with people. And
he brought it home. We loved it.
So we realized that's funny.
And then there was a talent show at our high school, 14 years old. And we were
I knew this was going to be a talent show
let's
story.
go. We're
Yes.
like, let's do it. We like comedy.
Yes.
Let's do comedy. So we took some bits that we knew we loved from the people that we thought, and then we wrote some material about our high school. We did a whole bit about the math club, and they needed new marketing to get new people to come in, and they needed the guys who did the truck and tractor pull commercials for those things. And so we wrote a truck and tractor pull commercial for our math club. And that was probably our best bit. And it got such a big response. And it kind of is similar to what we do. We were bouncing back and forth, and we were we never questioned, are you going to go on stage? And then am I going to go on stage?
How do we do this? We just were like, all right, let's do it
together.
That's called a healthy naivete.
A healthy naivete.
Right.
Or we both
call that a blind spot in the business.
or we just or the organic, allowing something to be organic, not thinking about what's the best possible version of what we're doing. It's like, let's do the thing we love, and maybe it turns into something. I mean, I remember,
we didn't even say maybe it turns into something.
No, we just were like, maybe it goes well tonight. Who knows? And so we did it and went well. And then randomly, this is crazy. We, through Jewish Youth Group, BBYO, our friend lived in Kansas City. He was doing comedy sports. He was 16. We were 15. He was, you know, an advanced guy, Jeff Goldsmith, who later came out here and did some great writing about film stuff. He developed some, you know, he was a director, and we gave him some work on our ESPN show, Cheap Seats, and just a great guy. He called us in St. Louis and said, hey, do you guys have a tape of you doing stand-up? And we're like, as a matter of fact, we do. We
only
just did
one copy.
We just did stand up. And he said, okay, you need to send it to this address. There's a place in LA. They're doing a young comedian special, and they're taking submissions.
Wow.
16 and under. You guys should have submitted.
Wow.
We said, okay, we'll submit. So we didn't know anyone in St. Louis. No one in our family had done it. No one we didn't even know how to dub a tape. We called the guy who made our bar mitzvah tape. We're like, can you dub this tape?
Do you have two VCRs connected together? He said, yeah. So
he dubbed a tape. We're like, don't dub over Scott Keller. Don't dub over our bar mitzvah. Just
R.I.P. Scott Keller. He's not dead. I just want him to get a good night's sleep.
That's
right? Just rest.
Rest in peace.
Peacefully rest on a nice sleep number bed.
So he takes the tape. We send it into this production company. Ruben and Core, I think was their name. Like, I don't even know if they exist anymore. I'm assuming they don't. And they were doing this special for Disney with Mark Price. Do you remember him? Who played Skippy on Family Ties. He was a stand-up from the 80s.
Yep.
And he was going to host because he was a young stand-up at the time, and they were going to get young comedians. And so we sent it in, and then we never thought anything about it. About 3 or 4 months later, we get a phone call. I remember we're at dinner with our parents. Phone rings. Randy and Jason Sklar there. We answer the phone, and they said, listen, we've seen hundreds of submissions, and you're in our top 10 for this thing. And we're like, for what? Comedy. And then we're like, wait, what? The tape we sent in? Yes. So they're like, okay, you can't use material from other comics. Like, obviously. And they're like, okay, so this week, next Tuesday, go up and record a new set, all original material.
Oh.
And then send that back in, and we'll let you know how things are going. And so we're like, wait. And they gave us a ton of other notes and thoughts that are things we couldn't figure out for 10 years. Like,
that was your first brush with self-taping.
Self-taping, and also someone giving you feedback and
not paying you yet,
but not paying us. But
wait, there was original material because you doing stuff about the school, right?
Yeah. So they said you could lift out any material that belongs to anyone else, replace it with more original material, and have a full set of your own original material, so we can present what the set
how much time did they want?
Like
10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask 14-year-olds who've only done stand-up once.
Right.
So 15 at this point. And so
thank God you were past your bar mitzvah, so you had focus.
But so we were men at this point.
In the eyes of the Lord.
Eyes of God. So and Kevin Spacey. All right. So we were men.
Scott Keller.
Can we say that?
Scott Keller, R.I.P.